My name is Davin Abraham. This is for Mr. Diamond's journalism class. I'm interviewing Alexandra Panafilov. Alexandra, how are you doing today?
Hi.
So this interview, I wanted to bring awareness to Mrs. Doria's compost initiative, and it is to my knowledge that you are an intern for Mrs. Doria, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first questions to get this started is, what brought you into this internship?
Well, originally I was supposed to be an intern for Mr. Casaro, and then Mr. Casaro had gotten a promotion to be I think it was a district wide, something district wide. So he wasn't allowed to take on interns anymore. And when Miss Doria brought up composting, I was really interested in it from junior year when she had brought it up for the first time because I thought the rocket was like really interesting. And then I thought, I mean, if I don't have room for another internship, it's I might as well, try this out, see what it's like. And I don't know, I kind of fell in love with it. It's really fun.
Okay. And what do you do as an intern for Mrs. Doria?
I do a few things. Every day, fourth period, me, Mason, and Shannon, we, with Miss Doria or Miss Anissa, we go out, we compost the food, we kind of clean up our little area. We have a garden, so we kind of check up on that if anything is needed. And then fifth period, when it's my official internship period with Miss Doria, I'm either working on school spirit things, so I'm doing the bulletin boards outside of her office, or recently I've been writing articles for the school website. Most recently was like about a NASA scientist who went to high tech, or I'm just kind of helping her out with any school spirit stuff.
Okay. And what did you find interesting about this internship?
Interesting. I think it's just cool to see how it all happens. It's really cool to see how the food that I watch get thrown away every single day that I kind of throw away myself during lunch. It's like nice to see it become something that's not just being thrown away into landfills and see it kind of get repurposed and see our school do something beneficial for the state, for the country like that.
Okay. And what would you tell somebody who's interested in starting their own compost initiative or interested in interning for Mrs. Doria?
I'd say it's a lot of work to start the compost initiative and to do a lot of research because there is a lot of technical stuff that goes into it. You have to know amount of wood chips, you have to know amount of food, kind of proportions. But if you want to start interning for Miss Doria, just talk to her. I mean, she's the sweetest human being on planet Earth, and she always needs more help because our school creates a lot of food waste, 3 meals a day for over 1,000 students and teachers. So it's just she's always looking for more help.
Okay. And why do you think this is important for us to do?
Well, as a community, high tech being one of the biggest high schools in Hudson County and just being a big high school in general, it is really important for us to kind of give back to the community. Given that we are creating so much food waste, it's not good for the environment to just be throwing that food away and putting it into landfills. So by creating compost out of it and creating soil that we can use, it's refurbishing it, making it so that we can continue to eat good food on the soil that we created from like the last batch.
Okay. And how much food waste do you put in the rocket?
A lot. It depends on the day. Normally, our amazing maintenance team, they will give us like a bucket, a big bucket, and then in that bucket, depending on the day, we'll either do 3 big scoops, 2 big scoops, or a big scoop of food, and then on top of that, we would do 3, 2, or 1 scoops of wood chips, which then creates the soil.
Okay. And what does the rocket look like on the inside?
I've actually never seen the inside of the rocket. It's just kind of this long tube, I'd say, and then at the end of it, there's a little spout where you put a trash bag, or not like a special insulated bag where all of the dirt comes out, and at the top there's a little latch where we're able to put everything. But the inside of the rocket is kind of just like a inside of a blender, I'd say. It kind of twirls it all.
You mentioned maintenance helps you guys out.
Yeah.
And what way would you say they help you guys out?
Well, every time anybody composts anything, it's their job to take out the compost bins and put them into bigger bins for us to use. They're the ones that are usually transporting the bins to us when they're quite heavy. They do a great job at like opening the doors for us when we're outside. Overall, they're just a really, really great help.
But you guys carry it to them, right?
No.
So how does the food waste get transported to maintenance? Do you carry the bags of food
So
waste?
we don't technically carry anything. When we get there, there's a compost site at the back of our school. It's like already in a created area. And when we get there, there's gonna be 2 buckets, one with wood chips and one with the food that's already just there waiting for us. And then when we're done, because it's a pretty big bucket, it's like 5 feet tall or something. So when we finally finish the bucket, I'd say after a week or two, we'll take it down to maintenance to ask them to refill it, or they'll just do it themselves.
Okay. And do you know what the whole process is like when you put the food waste in the rocket?
Yeah, so I know that the food waste and the wood chips, they kind of begin to mix, and the rocket is kind of like beating it down. And I believe there's certain, I don't know beyond that if there's chemicals or something that goes into it, like good chemicals, but I do know that it just kind of like molds it together consistently, and the wood chips kind of give it that brown color, and then it comes out looking like dirt or soil.
Okay. And a lot of people have said that, there is a fulfillment when you're, reducing, reusing, and recycling. Have you received any kind of fulfillment from doing this initiative?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great knowing that we're kind of helping back and helping the environment. It's better than knowing that the food waste is just getting thrown away on top of more waste. And it feels good to know that I'm part of that. I'm part of that initiative to kind of help out.
Do you think people would get that same feeling if they
Yeah, I mean,
joined this? Yeah.
once you get past the really, really bad smell of the food because it's all just together,
Yeah.
I mean, it is really rewarding, and it's good to know that you're helping out and you're kind of a part of something that high tech can actually make a really big thing in the future. If we get multiple rockets, and it's a good feeling.
Right. And so this was a question from our class back at the Laser headquarters. When we were wondering, did you ever think about the fact that you're basically using food to make more food?
Yeah, all the time. It's really funny because sometimes when we're scooping and we see something fun, because it's like a big shovel, and then you see a bunch of different food because it's not separated by breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's just whatever food is there from the day, it's thrown in. So sometimes we'll see like pieces of chicken and rice, and we've seen whole apples. I mean, we just see it all and we're like, oh my God, that's so funny. That's like 4 meals that's going in, and then it just comes out looking completely different.
How do you guys because one time I was in the cafeteria, I was throwing my food out, and they had a foil, right? Those foil trays with the plastic covering, and they just threw it straight in the garbage, not like separating the contents in it. How do you guys handle that when there's the wrong piece of material in like the wrong bin?
Well, we don't handle the other 2 bins, so anything that's thrown in the other bins is immediately thrown away into the trash cans behind the school in our dumpsters. But if there's any, we've dealt with like plastic forks, spoons, knives in there, and if we see that, we just kind of try and with our gloves take it out, throw it away
In the
immediately.
recycling bins. Right?
Yeah, in the recycling bins that we have up in our compost area, and it happens quite often. I don't know why people keep throwing forks into the compost bin. It's not where it's supposed to go.
Yeah. Okay. And so that's where maintenance comes in to help out with that.
No, maintenance doesn't really clean up the bins for us, like what's inside of the bins. It's our job to clean up and make sure that everything inside of the bin is what's supposed to be in there. Because if we see it, we just throw it away. I mean, I've thrown away gum wrappers, I've thrown away chip wrappers, I've thrown away like forks, spoons, knives. It's really bad. Try and stop that.
What are you growing out there in the garden?
I don't know. The garden is more for our gardening club. I do know, I believe we have like little tomatoes, other things, but we have a whole patch of garden land that is going to be slowly utilized for other things. That's not part of my internship, but I do know that Ms. Doria checks on it a lot when me, Mason, and Shannon are doing the composting. But yeah, we have like little tomatoes. I think we have probably like cucumbers or something else. Just a few plants so far, but we're still expanding.
Do you know who may be a part of the other internship you mentioned?
With Mr. Casaro?
Is it with them?
No. So the gardening, I believe we have a gardening club at High Tech, or we're gonna create a club, but that's not part of my internship.
Okay. Now, we're getting to the end of this. Would you say this internship is worth it?
100%, 1,000%. It's like it's only 10, 15 minutes that you spend outside a day, yet you're making a difference. And then for the rest of the time, you get to fulfill other tasks that Miss Doria needs help with. We have our own little office that we get to kind of call our own. If I need to leave anything in there, I'm able to. So I'd say it's completely worth it. And it's a good feeling to know that I'm just kind of helping out. And it's kind of funny to now I notice more things about the composting and I notice more environmental stuff. Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Okay. And so before you did this, what were your first thoughts on this?
Ugh, it smelled terrible. It absolutely smelled horrible. Like my first day, we were all just like holding our noses. We had to figure out ways. We were like, we need to buy, I don't know what they're called, like the clips to hold your nose.
Yeah.
But after a while, we kind of came to terms with the fact that this is our life now, and it's rewarding enough to not want to quit.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for having us here.
Yeah, of
Thank you for your
course.
answers. Before we end this off, is there any final remarks you'd like to say?
Compost, and don't throw trash in the compost bins, please.
Okay, thank you. That was Alexandra Penfold of an intern from Mrs. Doria. I'm Davin Abraham. This interview is officially over. Thank you for listening.
Oh, that was fun. Thanks,
you.
Davin.
Thanks for having us here.
No, of course. I'm sorry I couldn't do it yesterday. I completely
Don't
forgot.
worry about it. As long as you were able to do it.
Of course. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go back to class, but thank you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for having us here.
Bye.
Bye.